easy from Eddie Hernandez. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GAW Academy Stormchaser, and welcome to the new GAW Academy Women's Champion, Katherine. She won this title in the main event of Bash at the Beach. We'll take a look back. It was an unbelievable performance from the MMA legend killer, a lariat to Lazara, a legend killer to Yamamoto, and just like that, Katherine, the winner of the Stormchaser tournament, wins the championship, and she is out here now to address us all. I am your new Academy Women's Champion. This is exactly the spot I was always destined to be in. This is exactly what I've been telling you. Enough of this false modesty from Lazara. Enough of whatever Yamamoto does. I am the best damn wrestler in the world, and I'm going to remind you all every week, I am a champion now, because when it comes down to a straight wrestling match, I beat both women. I beat Lazara, I beat Yamamoto. I won the Stormchaser tournament, and I am now the champion. No one could do that. Eddie Hernandez couldn't do that. Only I can. So right now, I want to offer anyone in the back an opportunity to prove themselves against the best.
Just keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave.
My God, folks, Valeska Pierce is here. Valeska Pierce is one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the history of the underground. GAW is the underground promotion, and Valeska Pierce is the face of women's underground wrestling. Over 24 world championships in her time. This is unbelievable. Valeska Pierce has arrived. When I said anyone in the back, I meant wrestlers. My challenge wasn't open to hipster makeup artists. I'm not surprised you don't know who I am. I could spend this time filling you in. I could tell you about my 24 world championships. I could tell you about my women's championship wrestling grand slam. I could tell you about the multiple underground promotions I dominated. I could tell you about my World of Stardom Yeah. Look, I get it, girl. You've won a lot of stuff in places that don't matter. But you're in GAW now, honey. I'm the greatest mixed martial artist ever, with wins over every woman in the sport you've ever heard of, but you don't see me talking about it. Why are you here? I'm here representing every woman back there in the locker room. I've been hanging around here for a little while, and I was hoping that I wouldn't have to step in the ring, because honestly, I'm tired. I've had a long career. My body hurts. I have to take 5 pills every morning before I can even make my daughter breakfast or go for a walk. But I cannot accept a woman like you running GAW. Why? Because GAW was supposed to be the spot where wrestlers from the mainstream and the underground came together. It was a celebration of everything that made wrestling great. And you look at men like Eddie Hernandez, Yun-Sun Park, Kurt Andrews, women like Lazara and Yamamoto, you see that it did really work. But you don't have respect for any of that. You saw this place as an opportunity, and credit to you, you took that opportunity, but you didn't do it the right way. What's the right way worth? I don't see them handing out championships for community service. You can go home to your daughter and pose for Hallmark card pictures all you want, but this is a place where championships are all that matter, and I am the champion. Championships are not all that matter. There have been hundreds of champions in professional wrestling, thousands, but only a handful that people remember. Only a handful that made a difference. That's what being a champion is about, and there's no hope that you can do that. So get your ass in that ring right now, and I'll show you what a real champion looks like. Oh, Valeska Pierce unloads on Katherine. Katherine said she was going to give a match right now. Valeska Pierce is going to be the one to take it. Well, the referee has sent these women into their corners, and we're going to get our match, the first match of Katherine Sakamoto's reign as Academy Champion. And Valeska Pierce going to start it off hot. Double underhook suplex. First cover here. Valeska Pierce, leg hook, kick out. Now, you know the rule in GAW. If Pierce is to get a win here, oh, what an hurricane by Katherine to answer. Striking combination, and again, Katherine just leaning into this MMA background of hers. Quick kicks, and Katherine follows it up, rolling soul butt, and Valeska Pierce has been taken off of her feet by the women's champion. If Pierce is to get a win here, that will pretty much guarantee her a championship match against Katherine Sakamoto. And now Pierce with a Michinoku driver. I mentioned that Valeska Pierce is one of the most decorated underground women's wrestlers in history. She has been pro for over a decade, spent most of that time in women's championship wrestling, the most famous underground women's promotion in the world. She is a 12-time WCW Women's World Champion. She is a 4-time Tag Team Champion, 2-time US Champion, 2-time Intercontinental Champion, and Pierce with a nice double leg takedown. So she is, as she said, a Grand Slam champion in Women's Championship Wrestling. Spent some time in LCW, RBPW, two of the most recognizable underground promotions as well, and of course, a World of Stardom champion. In addition to all of that, Katherine going for a thrust kick, caught by Valeska. And because of that, oh, Katherine with a German suplex, and she caught the turnbuckle pads as well. Pierce staggering to her feet. Katherine comes back, double leg takedown, trying to steal one. Valeska kicks out. And I think that lets you know the Women's World Champion a little nervous about what Valeska might be able to do in this situation, and I would be as well. Valeska with a Death Valley driver. Pierce is an underground wrestler, which after the underground revolution that's been going on in the GAW Academy, we know what that means. When you talk about underground wrestling, it's all about balance, it's all about unpredictability, it's all about ingenuity, and that is what Valeska Pierce brings to the table. Katherine trying to beat the ingenuity out of the head of Valeska Pierce, introducing her to that top turnbuckle. That's not an introduction I want to be a part of, but Katherine, she needs a moment to think about this, maybe regretting her choices, regretting the decision to call out anyone to come face her. It would have been difficult under normal circumstances, but someone like Valeska, you can't prepare for it, and no way you can prepare for that. Sit outside Uranagi from Valeska Pierce, incredible strength from the underground wrestler, and just 3 minutes in, Pierce is at the top rope, looking maybe for the kill shot. Valeska Pierce coming down, no! Katherine sends her crashing to the ground. And now it's Valeska Pierce on her back as Katherine has her in trouble. Pierce trying to get out of the way, and Katherine maybe looking for stare at the lights, has to rethink. That was well done by Valeska Pierce, now getting Katherine back into her own game, and Pierce again looking for that takedown, but Katherine turns it into a DDT. Pierce very wisely rolls out. This is the experience, the intelligence of Valeska Pierce, over a decade in professional wrestling, and now Katherine with a huge right hand sends her off the apron, and from the top, the Women's World Champ perched and ready to attack, going all the way down with a diving clothesline, and Pierce rolls over the back of her neck on a lightly padded ringside area. The fans are not loving Katherine Sakamoto the way she's dealing with this match, and I don't blame them. Valeska Pierce has been a fan favorite for almost her entire career. She is incredibly personable, incredibly kind. Just a joy to talk to in my limited interactions with her. And now Katherine, she thought she was going to catch Valeska, and she did another side sit-out Uranagi. Valeska Pierce making Katherine regret every decision she's made tonight, probably making her regret waking up in the morning. Pierce from the top, Valeska Pierce, neck piercer. Valeska Pierce, her first match in GAW, has just pinned the Academy champion. Unbelievable. Katherine thought she was being clever. She thought she could call out anyone tonight. She thought that she would begin her reign with a dominant win, and Valeska Pierce had something else for her. This was the moment where you realized that Katherine Sakamoto had gotten more than she was planning on, and the neck piercer from Valeska Pierce has Katherine inches from that rope for the break, but there was no way Katherine was moving. Valeska Pierce, her first match in general admission wrestling, has beat the champion, and now it's Valeska Pierce who is the #1 contender to Katherine Sakamoto's Academy Championship. Folks, in our main event coming up tonight, we have an incredible three-way dance for you. Ulysses Sky, Overload, and Omega Woods in a three-way dance in the main event. Three men who did not get a match at Bash at the Beach now have the opportunity to start their post-Bash at the Beach careers with a huge win. That is coming up in our main event. Welcome to the era of the Titans. Look at the greatness on display here. Who else but me could have found a 20-year-old prospect and turned him into a champion? It's time to show off the greatest team in Academy history. You've never heard of a Titans rules match, I'm sure. It's been a while since we've used one. But that's what you're about to see. The Titans are the champions now, so we need certain protections. These belts have to be legitimate, and that's what we're going to do. Well, it's Woods Club in the ring to face the Titans, the new Academy Tag Team Champions. And I have no idea what Lieter meant earlier about Titans rules. Well, actually, I might have some idea, and I will explain that as we get into this match. But the Titans, Dagonite and Lieter, they were the champions after Bash at the Beach. We'll take a look back. It was an incredible match against War, and ultimately the Doomsday Device proved too much for Isaiah Hannibal and Vic Cassidy, and Lieter cemented his legacy as the greatest tag team champion in Academy history. Well, let's see. Oh, Lance Woods coming out hot against Dagonite. So Lieter mentioned Titans rules, and that is actually a reference to Leiter's career as a tag team wrestler when he was part of the first iteration of the Titans with Will Hobbs, the first Academy Tag Team Champions. And Titans rules referred to essentially cheating, because essentially the Titans would get a hold of the match contract and would change it so that, you know, there were certain rules that they could follow and the other team wouldn't know what was going on. So I certainly hope that that was just an offhand reference and that's not something that we would actually see. Dagonite in to start for the Titans, just 20 years old. Dagonite is the youngest champion in general admission wrestling. And what an incredible champion he is. Oh, Lieter unleashes the right onto Seth Woods. And now Dagonite still in that corner. Seth Woods trying to free himself here as Lieter was trying to post him up on that top rope. And Woods has a long way to go to get to his own corner. Snapmare to Lieter. And we just saw Valeska Pierce beat the Academy Women's Champion. So Pierce is now the #1 contender for Katherine Sakamoto's championship. So could we see the same with Woods Club here against the new champions, the Titans? Seth Woods looking for a single underhook suplex, and Lieter able to free himself from that. Lieter, a legend of tag team wrestling, and what an incredible career he has had in the GAW Academy. Everything that he's done, everything he's meant to the sport, Dagonite is in. And the 20-year-old Dagonite An absolutely terrifying specter. One of the most dangerous men you will ever see, and now a camel clutch applied to Seth Woods from the massive 7-footer. Seth Woods able to free himself. Lieter just barking orders to his young 20-year-old partner, and obviously Lieter has the experience advantage. Tag in, here comes Lance. But at this point, you gotta feel like, Lieter, he's not babying Dagonite or anything like that. Lance Woods able to free himself out of that, and Woods comes flying in. Knee strike from Lance. So you feel like at this point, Lieter is just the tactician of the group, given his experience and intelligence. But I certainly don't think Dagonite is learning on the job or anything like that. I think Dagonite is a fully realized tag team wrestler, and we're seeing evidence of that right now. Lance Woods fighting out of the corner as Dagonite try to get a tag in. Woods looking for the spinning heel kick, and Dagonite not having any of that. Dagonite has him up, and Dagonite with a last ride style power bomb. Dagonite is absolutely massive, so much power for the 20-year-old, and now just sends Lance Woods right into the corner. Seth Woods wants a tag here. Dagonite's not gonna let it happen. Dagonite tosses Lance Woods right over, and now Dagonite looking to get a shot in on Seth. Seth saw that one coming, but still Dagonite barely phased, and now has Lance Woods right where he wants him. In a bad situation, Dagonite sends Woods over into the barricade. And this is what we've come to expect from Dagonite, the 20-year-old. He is brutal. Oh my God, what an uppercut right to Seth Woods, or Lance Woods rather. As Dagonite just having his way with Lance Woods of the Woods Club, sends him into the side of the announce table. And Dagonite back into the ring, and he will break the count. This from Dagonite is pretty much what we expected to see from him. Oh God, just in terms of sheer brutality. And now just the strikes over and over and over again to Lance Woods. This is absolutely brutal, and Dagonite with a flatliner right onto the cold ground. And Dagonite, man, what is this? Dagonite. Dagonite's got a steel chair, and Dagonite with the chair drops Lance Woods. The referee is in full view, and he did not call for a disqualification. This is exactly what Titans rules refers to. Lance Woods is bleeding, absolutely busted open, and Dagonite just stalking his prey right now. Dagonite after the chair shot. That's exactly what Titans rules refers to. Last ride style powerbomb, and Dagonite right in front of Seth Woods pins Lance, and the Titans have their first win as champions. Lieter approves as the Titans rules match. Lance and Seth Woods were not told that they would be allowed to use weapons, but Lieter and Dagonite did, and one chair shot right to the head was enough. Dagonite with the pin, and the Titans have a win. And folks, this is what Titans rules looks like. Dagonite and Lieter, they were dangerous enough, but who is going to beat them with the Titans rules in effect? Folks, we got Oliver Parker backstage, came up just short in his title match against Kurt Andrews because of one lead car. Let's see what he has to say.
this ability to determine the direction.
Wow, Lee Carr has not forgotten the state that Omega Woods left him in. And I don't blame him, or rather Oliver Parker. I mean, Omega Woods coming up in this match, but I don't blame Lee Carr for not forgetting. And Parker, this is just what he deserved after those, what he did to Lee Carr at Stormchaser Sydney. Ulysses Sky now, one of the 3 men in this match who did not have a match at Bash at the Beach, but this is a great opportunity for Sky to get himself back on track post Bash at the Beach. Sky has had a lot of matches, 2 and 3, but obviously, as you can see, his record is not exactly what he would have expected or liked at this point. So for Sky, this does represent a big opportunity for him to kind of change. Now, Overload is a guy we got pretty used to seeing on our screens during the build-up to Bash at the Beach, and it was mostly against Lars Nightfall. But of course, ultimately, the end of that whole thing came in an impromptu street fight where Overload was beaten up and pinned in the backstage area by Lars Nightfall. This is the first time we've seen him since then, after taking a choke slam on concrete. Obviously, it'll take you a little while to recover from that, so Overload is back in. What a way to fix what happened to him at the beginning of Season 2 if he is to get a win here.
Burn 'em, hottest money I be making, I'ma burn 'em, I'ma murk 'em, and if they playing with this fire, I'ma burn 'em, murder, it's a murder.
Omega Woods, the most mysterious man in the GAW Academy and potentially the most dangerous. We know almost nothing about Omega. We don't know what he's about. We don't know what his motivation is. We don't know why he's here. He alluded to having a purpose now at Bash at the Beach. He talked about it, so maybe we will get a look at what exactly that means. What does Omega Woods really want? And what even is he like? We've seen him in only a very limited capacity competing in a tag team match in a 6-man tag where he was not the legal man for most of it. So we don't know anything about him as a professional wrestler. So this is going to be our opportunity to find out what Omega Woods is like and how dangerous he can really be. Well, this will be Omega Woods' first foray as a singles wrestler, and immediately he's going up top. Ulysses Sky gets right underneath the elbow as it comes down from Omega Woods, and now all 3 men. Overload doesn't want any part of this. Omega Woods, look at this strength. Package suplex to Ulysses Sky. Overload content to watch this, and now it looks like Overload might be moving in, or Omega Woods got him before Overload was ready. This is the ability of Omega Woods. Cross arm breaker applied here from Woods. Elimination rules in this 3-way dance. Last man not pinned or submitted will win the match. Anything goes. Overload frees himself from the cross arm breaker, but Omega Woods right back on the attack. This is exactly what we would expect from Omega, given what he is capable of doing. Ulysses Sky, he's brought the first weapon into this match. Overload sees it, Ulysses Sky drops him. Sky just dispensing of that chair, and now Sky trying to notch the elimination here on Overload, and Overload kicks out. Anything goes. Ulysses Sky is doing the right thing to bring in a weapon against a much bigger Overload. Omega Woods from behind, jumping lariat, and now it's just Woods and Sky left in the ring. Sky with a single underhook DDT. Out of the ring he goes. There's that chair from earlier, but it looks like Sky will go for something different. Both men are down, and Ulysses Sky, he's grabbed another chair, maybe one not dented by Overload's head. With Omega Woods on the ground, and Woods sees the shot coming able to work himself out of it, and he gets caught from behind by Overload. Lariat from Overload, tries to go for another one. Ulysses Sky catches him into the front chancery. Overload out of the way, and Overload sends him over. It looks like Overload might have a bone to pick with Ulysses Sky, but instead he realizes Omega Woods is down in the ring, and Overload gonna take him to Backbreaker City with that one. It'll be Overload to grab a weapon now. He's got Omega Woods down, and Omega Woods once again sees the chair shot coming, and he catches that one. Woods has done a phenomenal job staying out of these chair shots from both Overload and Ulysses Sky, but he's not done a good job of staying out of that throwing slam by Overload. And now right over the prone body of Omega Woods, Overload has Ulysses Sky up in a power bomb. Sky just trying to get out of the attacking range of Overload. Omega Woods gonna go back to work here on the big man. Overload, of course, lost that street fight with Lars Nightfall a few weeks ago. And now trying to hoist up Omega Woods, and Woods, calm as you like. Maybe a little too calm, catches that shot from Overload, but you can tell the toughness of Omega Woods. Cover here from Overload and a kick out. So obviously Overload is no stranger to a hardcore style match, and a street cutter from Ulysses Sky. We know the strength of Sky. We've seen it before. He picks up the chair and decides against it, given the fact that Omega Woods has done such a good job avoiding the weapon shots, and now a good takedown from Woods. Out he goes. And Omega Woods will bring in his first weapon of the match. Singapore cane time. Overload to his feet, and Omega Woods wraps it around the back of Ulysses Sky. One shot is all he needs, but here comes Overload. Lariat drops Omega to his back. Overload, camel clutch slam. Woods and Sky down, and now Overload. Possibly another weapon into this match, and it's a baseball bat from Overload going in Omega Woods, and Woods again rolls out of it, and he eats that shot right in the jaw. Overload gave him one good one, and now into the cover, and Ulysses Sky broke it up. What was Ulysses Sky doing here? Well, he's gonna pay for it. Slam from Overload. Omega Woods to his feet, and Overload just tosses him. Cover from Overload after the gigantic slam on Ulysses Sky, and Sky is eliminated. That's what he gets for breaking up a cover. Overload with a massive slam, and Ulysses Sky, for some reason, forgot the rules of this match. I have no idea what he could have been thinking, but Overload made him pay. Now it's just Overload and Omega Woods left, and Woods trying to make Overload feel that level of pain. Look at this, Overload caught in a Boston Crab by Omega Woods. He knows that he can't get the win out here, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He is just trying to lock in the most painful submission he can. Overload finally able to free himself, but Omega Woods probably sees this as an advantage going forward. Into the ring goes Overload. A massive power bomb on the hard outside, and now Omega Woods with a bat buries it into the lower back of Overload. Omega Woods can be an absolute killer, and we're seeing it right now. Cover with the massive leg hooked of Overload, and a kick out. Overload somehow withstands that attack. I don't know how, but Omega Woods comes in. What a lariat. Catches him right in the jaw. Manhattan drop. Catches the legs, and a leg drop onto the gut. Basement drop kick. Beautiful combination from Omega Woods. Overload just had no idea what he was getting in the ring with right now, but that lariat might send the ideas out of Omega Woods' head. Cover here from Overload, and a kick out. Ulysses Sky now long gone from this match after inexplicably breaking up a cover attempt by Overload. So now it is just these two left. Omega Woods showcasing a little bit of quickness here, and Woods comes out, thrust kick, Sidestep by Overload. And now Overload's got the wrist of Omega Woods, and Woods comes back. Beautiful basement drop kick to free himself. Well done, pop up. Overload just sends him tumbling to the ground, and a cover here. Kick out from Omega Woods. This is a pretty even contest, and I think more so due to the size of Overload. Picks him up, maybe looking for that slam to put away Ulysses Sky. Omega Woods out of the way, and now Woods has the leg. Beautiful dragon screw leg whip. You know you gotta go for the leg on a man this big. Omega Woods knows it as well as anyone. Some of the men he's fought across his time as an underground wrestler. Obviously, in his history is also 5 UFC light heavyweight championships. So you're talking about a guy that is proficient in every style, but as you can tell, the MMA style does not dominate his matches in terms of the way that he goes about the offense. It's really a way that he plays defense, that MMA styling. That forearm smash caught by Overload. What a shoulder tackle to answer. Maybe Omega Woods will have to dip into that MMA to try to overcome the giant. Overload slams him down, but he knows that he needs more than that. It'll be a giant lariat that hopes he can put away Omega Woods, and another kick out. This is as good as Overload has looked since that street fight with Lars Nightfall. And now Overload. Overload, he's getting a big running start. Overload off both ropes, hospital ride. Trying to cave in the chest of Omega Woods, and Overload taking a long time to get over there and make a cover. Finally, the leg is hooked, and Omega Woods kicks out. Overload can't believe it. The hospital ride is enough to put away almost anyone. Out of the ring goes Omega. Overload cannot believe that Omega Woods is still in this match. Omega Woods at this point, I mean, he's behind, but he's just kicked out of the hospital ride. So if anything, he might feel like the momentum is with him. Both men back in the ring, and Omega Woods going for the leg of Overload. A nice drop toe hold from the former world's strongest man. Omega Woods answers. Deep arm drag. And now Woods staggers him, and a thrust kick puts him down. Omega Woods back into that cross arm breaker we saw earlier in the match. Just trying to pull back on that elbow, and Overload, you can tell he's trying to flip his hips over so he can get the pressure off of his elbow, and he does. That is the strength of Overload. Again, former world's strongest man. And Overload trying to go right back to work here, looking for that slam, and Omega Woods out of the way. Woods, gunslinger! Gunslinger to answer from Omega Woods. He busted Overload open with it in Omega Woods. What a performance. Absolutely beautifully done from Omega Woods. This is the giant slam that put Ulysses Sky away, and he tried the same thing on Omega Woods. Woods just uses incredible athleticism to flip out of it. Gunslinger, and that was the day for Overload. It's time for me to address something right now, partner. It's time for me to talk about my goals here. Look, I'm not here to wait, I told you that. I'm here to solidify my legacy as the greatest wrestler to ever participate in this sport. We've heard all night GAW was this amazing project that was gonna change the world of wrestling, so I won't rehash anything. It was all correct. All of it was right. GAW is the reason I came out of retirement. The opportunity is the reason I had to come here. And the first thing I want to do is go straight to the top. And the top is Yun-Son Park. I won't disparage all his accomplishments because I'm not a pathetic son of a bitch. I don't need to pretend he hasn't done it all to psych myself up. Yun-Son Park has done it all. He's the greatest wrestler this company has ever seen. That's why I'm going after him now. He's never seen anything like me before. None of you have. Park, come out here right now and face the man who will end your legacy, Haas. That's your legend. A man that won't face his challenger. Park, let me tell you something right now. I will hunt you down. I will end your legacy, partner. I will show you what the future of general admission wrestling looks like. And I am the future, Park. I am the future of general admission wrestling. I will find you.
I'll be lurking, I'ma hurt 'em.